All right, folks. This is pretty funny here. Okay, this is really hilarious. This is coming from the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Seriously, this is coming from Donald J. Trump. Now, we all know how narcissistic Donald Trump is, obviously, and how much he loves himself. That's already a given, right? We already all know about all of that kind of stuff. That's Donald Trump. That's what he does. That's his, characteristics. Those are his qualities as a human being. He's very narcissistic. He's all about himself, etc., etc. So some months back, I forget how many months ago it was, maybe like 6 to 8 months or somewhere around there, in that sort of time frame, if I recall correctly, Donald Trump tweeted out a video that was basically like this compilation of people. In the beginning, I guess it's predictions of the video, predictions of the election, and then leading up to like what ended up happening and people basically, covering the election. And I think what he did here is just a repost of that video again today, if my understanding is correct, of this video. But dude, this video is going after the Young Turks and Cenk Uygur. Now I wonder how Cenk feels knowing that, like, yo, dude, the President of the United States has rewatched a video clip of him talking about the election. It's just an interesting thought that Donald, he knows that Donald Trump is, like, watching him in his videos. Because, how many times do you think Donald Trump has watched this 2-minute and 29-second clip that we're going to get into here? Seriously, how many times do you think he's watched it? He's watched it on repeat, like, thousands of times. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's got to be an interesting feeling for Cenk because, I don't know, the President of the United States is kind of, that he's watching you and what you're saying in your videos and stuff. Obviously, he's laughing at you. But hey, man, it's the President, which is pretty hilarious. But let's check out this video if you haven't seen it yet.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
Could he actually win?
No freaking way!
Which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Donald Trump.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
Trump will not be president.
Trump will never be elected president of the United States.
You're not going to be president.
A man who will never be president of the United States.
Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank.
He will never be president.
Donald Trump is not going to become president of the United States. She's at plus 19. Do you think the tapes made a difference? Of course! They made all the difference!
This race is over.
Hillary Clinton has raised more than double Donald Trump, vastly outspending him.
The presidency at about 89% for Hillary Clinton.
Your analytical model has never been wrong. Now projects Hillary Clinton to win presidential election.
100% chance. You still think she has a 100% chance of winning the election?
I do. And what would Donald Trump have to do to turn things around?
Prayer and hope for a Festivus miracle.
This is CNN's coverage of Election Night in America. The fight for the presidency.
Because we don't care. Oh, okay, have Kentucky. Who cares? Kentucky.
Don't care about Indiana. Don't care.
Indiana with West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas, Nebraska, and Wyoming with its vote, North Dakota and South Dakota, Texas. Up and down the middle of the country, all red. Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri.
Yes. It was at 80% an hour ago for Clinton.
What is it now?
68%.
Okay, God damn it, I'm nervous. Ohio. Hold. Ohio, gone. Idaho. Okay, yeah, I don't see a fucking landslide here. I don't see it at all. North Carolina. God damn it, if we need Florida, are you shitting me? Florida. It is fucking panic time. New Georgia.
Donald Trump, now the favorite to win the presidency.
Iowa. New York Times now has it at 95% chance. Utah can still win, but in order to do so, she has to win Wisconsin. God damn, fuck Arizona.
Alaska.
Pennsylvania.
Michigan.
What a night. How did this...
So if you saw that there, like, dude, there's a good chunk of this video is Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks. That's wild, bro. Donald Trump, he's watching videos of Cenk Uygur covering the election. Like, dude, do you see how fat of a chunk that was of this is Cenk? Like, look, I mean, there was already a little part of Cenk right here, but then, you know, it comes back to Cenk over here, and then it's showing it's the Wolf Blitzer infused stuff, and then you get more TYT coverage. Like, dude, look at how fat the chunk this is of this video. It's like making fun of Cenk Uygur and TYT, dude. Like, that's an incredible amount, bro. Like, wow, almost like a full minute is dedicated to the Young Turks. Cenk Uygur. I mean, just think about that, right? Donald Trump is watching videos of Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks covering the 2016 election. How crazy is that? That's just so weird, so odd, and just so bizarre. It's just incredibly bizarre. And again, I wonder how Cenk feels to know, like, yo, Donald Trump is up at night at 1 a.m. on his phone, just like watching videos, just metaphorically stroking himself by watching these videos. Because as I explained to you earlier, obviously Donald Trump is a massive narcissist. He's a massive, narc. So the situation of Cenk's prediction is kind of an odd one, and I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So I'd pointed out in one of my videos that Cenk had, in one scenario, said that that Donald Trump was going to win. Let's check this out.
But right now, looking at it, I have Hillary Clinton at 280 and Donald Trump at 258.
I have Hillary Clinton winning every swing state with the exception, I believe, of North Carolina, which I think we can call a swing state, 332 to 206.
All right, so George, I did the states. I didn't look at the numbers ahead of time. I got to 269, 269.
I started with the Obama-Romney map from 2012, and I did a little bit of flipping.
I've got Trump at 279, 259. I gave him Florida, Ohio.
You said he was a loser a minute ago. Wait a minute. I'm winning the presidency.
No, listen. So in his life, he's had a great track record of failure, bankruptcies, running from Vietnam, everything like that. But he's a populist candidate when the country is angry, and you run, and it's the most establishment candidate we've ever seen against him. It was a terrible idea by the Democrats to support Hillary Clinton.
So you're so hot against him today because you think he's going to win.
I'm very worried, and if the Democrats are not really worried that in this populist time Donald Trump doesn't have an excellent chance to win, they're completely wrong.
So so he went on ABC, right? He went on ABC, and from his little map here that you could see, Cenk's map, he literally has Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton, 279, 259. So he has her losing here when he went on ABC, which I believe was like right before the election happened. But if we look here, he kind of has a bit of a different take and a different tune.
Wait a drum roll. All right. I'm calling it. Hillary Clinton, the winner of this presidential election. 3 weeks before the election, exactly 3 weeks, almost exactly. And before the third debate begins, it's about to begin as we do this live coverage, she's going to win the election. Now,
next thing you're going to tell me Shep Smith is
from that OV
was going to win this election, thought the election was over a long time ago. But they don't count. I do. I'm kidding. No, in all seriousness, mainstream guys always thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. They thought that before the race even began. They thought it was over against Bernie Sanders. They thought Trump, they thought it was comical. I thought Trump would win the Republican primary. I bet that. I was right. And so I thought this race was going to be a lot closer than people thought. And I still think that Trump might gain on her at the end and win critical states like Nevada and Ohio and do better than people expect. But the reason I'm calling it today, I think it's a more considered opinion than just a mainstream pundit going, oh, of course, I like Hillary. Hillary's the one, right? Of course, it's Hillary, right? It can't be Trump. No one I know in my cocktail circuit likes Trump. It can't be Trump. No, it can't be Trump. He's probably going to win Ohio. He's going to do better than people expect. As someone pointed out, actually, of all places on crack.com, there was a great article.
So basically what Cenk is saying here, as you guys saw there, he called the election for Hillary Clinton on October. This video is posted October 19th. Now, I don't know what the date was of the ABC appearance, but that was most likely closer to the election than October 19th. So maybe that's why he switched his opinion. But I'm a bit confused here. So if you guys don't know, probably the closest you could be with being wrong was probably Kyle Kalinske. He had a prediction video. Go check that out, by the way. It's pretty good video. He basically predicted everything right, like on the money. I think he just fucked up the 3 states, which were the Rust Belt states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. He had all those going for Hillary, but obviously those flipped for Donald Trump. I think he had even said that Trump would take both Ohio and Florida, which is a pretty ballsy prediction to do. So if you go watch that, he was like the closest to being right, but who was wrong. So what Cenk was trying to allude to there is like, hey, I have a more nuanced opinion than just, Hillary Clinton's going to win in a landslide. Donald Trump's a moron. He has no chance. And Kyle was probably the most nuanced on that. And he was very, very close, obviously, because I think the only problems with his prediction, I think, were just those 3 states, if I'm not mistaken. Just flip those 3 states. And I think basically everything was right. Maybe even everything else was right. I'm not sure. But his right here doesn't seem to be as nuanced as he's giving it off, which is what confuses me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of confused because I don't really see much nuance from his opinion right here on October 19th. But, this the video posted by Donald Trump, that like YouTube mashup, doesn't really necessarily really show Cenk and his sort of prediction being wrong or whatever. It more shows like him reporting the news and just being pissed in general because obviously a horrible human being and Donald Trump becoming president of the United States. So, it's a bit different than his prediction being wrong because he did go on ABC and he did say that Donald Trump was going to win, even though it seemed weird because on October 19th he says this, and then on ABC, which I assume the date was closer than October 19th, he says that, Donald Trump's going to win. But here he's saying that Hillary Clinton's going to win by, a solid margin. And nowhere in this do I see Cenk. I think he might have said it briefly, but I don't really think he did. He says in here that I don't think he ever says that Donald Trump can win. Because Kyle Kalinske, made it a point to emphasize and accentuate. Hey, Donald Trump can win. Seriously, he can win. Cenk doesn't seem to have that same tune here. He seems to be more of the tune of he can do better than pundits are expecting him to, but he still has no chance of winning. So essentially what that means is he won't necessarily get blown out. He could do all right, but he's still practically a lock for a loss. But, this is just very interesting. Again, Donald Trump, it's weird. I wonder how Cenk feels to know that Donald Trump sits there at 1 a.m. Looking at his phone, watching video clips of Cenk Uygur reporting the election news. That's just so weird, dude. I'm curious. He probably feels really good about that because obviously Cenk is also kind of a big player, so he's trying to get out there and stuff like that. So I'm sure that definitely, is something that he likes very much. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. It's very interesting. Donald Trump going after TYT.